And for the first 4.5, the voice of the Oakland A's, Monty Moore.
Thank you very much, Jim Simpson. Hi once again, everybody. Bert Campaneris steps in at home plate, and Don Sutton is standing on the rubber. Takes a deep breath to relieve some tension, which has got to be there if you're playing in a World Series. Here's the first pitch of the ball game, and Campaneris goes for it. This is strike one. Campaneris had his best year ever in the big leagues with the bat this year. He hit .290 overall. He's been a colorful little player for the A's for many years. 10 years, stole over 30 bases in one season. Many times over 50. Breaking ball misses. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. One season, Campaneris had a very unusual year. He hit 19 home runs in one season. Sutton with that deliberate wind-up throws, and it's missing low. 2 balls and 1 strike. I think as Sutton was pitching early in the year, almost unbelievable to see that he had 14 straight starts before he got a win. Fastball strike call to Campaneris. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes. I got a kick out of reading about Steve Yeager's record early in the season. The first 24 games he started as the Dodger catcher, the Dodgers won. So he was 24-0 to start the season. 2-2 pitch to Campy. Strike call. A big curveball got him looking. Don Sutton's great overhanded curveball dived down through that strike zone and left Campaneris standing. So there's one away, and here's Bill North, the A's center fielder who led the American League in stolen bases with 54. North, a switch hitter. Played very little when he was in the National League, so his experience against Don Sutton would be very limited. Sutton's pitch to Billy is pop foul over the Dodger dugout into the crowd. The umpire behind the plate today is Bill Kunkel, who was a pitcher in the American League, and as a matter of fact, the closest he has ever been to a World Series prior to this World Series, which he's umpiring, was in this ballpark when he was with the Yankees. A relief pitcher. The pitch to North. He runs up and takes it low, a ball. 1 ball and 1 strike. As a matter of fact, Kunkel was telling us yesterday that he was out in the right field bullpen warming up when the Dodgers won the 4th straight game over the Yankees. 4-game sweep. He never got into a game in the World Series as a pitcher. Sutton to North. Foul ball out of play again. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Matter of fact, Kunkel said that he was warming up and he had a transistor radio with an earplug. While he was warming up, he was listening. That was the first year that Joe Garagiola was on the World Series and was telling some funny stories. And Kunkel said, there we were down 3 games and behind in the 4th, and I was in the bullpen laughing. And my teammates were wondering what was so funny. He was listening to Garagiola. Big curve, swung on and missed. Strike 3. Yeager drops the ball, but moves out to a good throwing angle in front of the plate about 10 feet and throws the first. There are 2 down. Here is A's captain and third baseman Sal Bando. Bando for the season hit .243 for Oakland. He had 22 home runs and drove in 103 runs. He led the American League in sacrifice flies. 13 of those this year, and that's an interesting statistic only that it indicates a man can hit with men in scoring position. Sutton winding, throwing, fastball, and he misses with it. It's ball 1. The 1-0 pitch. Missing low, 2 balls and 0 strikes. The Dodgers play Bando as a full hitter, but not all that much. Shortstop Bill Russell cheats a little bit towards his right, but not all that much. Davey Lopes plays him almost up the middle. Sutton's pitch to Bando is hit up into the air to left field. The shortstop Bill Russell's going back. He's calling for it as he drifts across the foul line, and he makes the catch. And the A's go 1-2-3 in inning number 1. The score, Oakland 0. The Dodgers coming to bat. With Monty Moore, Jim Simpson back in Los Angeles as we go to the last of the first inning of this 2nd game of the World Series. And the A's have had their first look at that good curveball of Don Sutton as he got 2 men Swinging. And the third man, Bando, fouled off.
Now the Dodgers will get a good look at Vida Blue, and let's recall something for him. He has allowed no runs in his last 14 innings of play. So we could be in for the same kind of game today as we were yesterday, Monty. Very low scoring.
Vida Blue in his last outing in the playoffs was as powerful as I have ever seen him. In 1971, of course, he won the Most Valuable Player and the Cy Young Award in the American League and struck out over 300 batters. The other day, he was as powerful as I've ever seen him since then. The first pitch is a lightning-like fastball, whipping its way across the plate for a called strike to Davey Lopes. Vida working quickly, throws again, and it's outside. Vida threw only 110 pitches in his last outing in Baltimore, and 95 of those were fastballs. So the Dodgers know what to look for here today. Vida has two fastballs, one riding fastball, and the other is a sinking fastball. Swinging, strike two. Vida powers it right by Davey Lopes, who had a fine year with the Dodgers, hitting .266. Little guy belted 10 home runs, swiped 59 bases. Vida curls and delivers again. A bouncing ball hit to the right side. Gene Tenace, the A's first baseman, has it. Lopes is out, number one. There was a fastball that Vida Blue runs away from a right-handed batter. Here's Bill Buckner, had a couple of hits yesterday. He hit .314 for the year for Los Angeles. And Billy had 7 homers with 58 runs batted in. He, too, is a great base-stealing threat, had 31 stolen bases. But I think one of the most amazing statistics, and certainly among the most impressive that Buckner has, is the fact that he did not go at any time this year more than 2 games in a row without a base hit. And he played in 160 of the Dodgers games. Blue's first pitch is outside, ball one. Vida hasn't often pitched a full 9-inning game without walking anybody, but in the Baltimore game the other day, he didn't walk a batter. Earlier this season, in a start against Baltimore in Baltimore, he pitched 8 2/3 innings without walking a batter. 1-0 to Buckner. Strike is called. The pitchers really concentrate throwing strikes against teams such as the Dodgers and the A's. They both have lots of men who can run, and the idea is don't let them get on free of charge. There's a breaking ball, the first one. It's swung on and fouled back. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Vida doesn't throw a slow curve, Jim. He calls it a slurve. It's a cross between a curve and a slider. He said, I don't know what it is. I just kind of twist my wrist, and there it goes. So Vida's slurve ball was fouled back. 1-2 count on Buckner. Around comes the arm. Here's the pitch, and it's a strikeout. Buckner started his swing, and I don't believe that he finished the swing, but the pitch was over the plate. So there are 2 down in the first inning, and here's Jimmy Wynn. The Dodger cannon had 32 home runs this year. He had 1 here yesterday in the 9th inning. That brought a lot of fans back into their seats who had started to the exit. Vida's pitch, low ball. Most of the Dodgers are known as first ball, fastball hitters. Vida will try to be very careful with placement of his first pitches against this ball club. Fastball strike to Wynn. It's 1-1. Campaneris cheats a little bit on defense towards left against Wynn. They give him the middle of the diamond. Fastball fouled off. First base umpire this afternoon is Doug Harvey of the National League. The second base umpire, Don Denkinger of the American League. Andy Olson in the National League is at third, and there are umpires down the foul line. Big Ron Luciano of the American League is in left, and Tom Gorman of the National League in right. Vida's pitch to the plate, fouled off. Whereas yesterday the umpires had their jackets on, today they're out here dressed all alike. You could tell the difference in American and National League umpires yesterday. The American Leaguers had on maroon coats. The National Leaguers black coats. Today it's a no-coat day in sunshiny Los Angeles. Vida's pitch to Wynn. Takes off and sails high. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes. The gathering place of Major League Baseball dignitaries, managers, former players. The World Series, the traveling baseball circus. Vida's pitch on the way, and he loses him. It's ball 4. So the Dodgers have Jimmy Wynn on. Wynn stole 18 bases for the Dodgers this year, and the A's will concentrate on keeping him close. Vida does not have a very good move to first base. Here's Steve Garvey, Dodgers' leading RBI man for 1974. Their right-handed hitting first baseman at a .312 batting average, 21 homers, and 111 runs driven in. Tough man to strike out. Wynn's got a big lead at first base and draws a throw from Blue. It's a lob throw. Dodger fans start that rhythmic applause. They want to get something going early here. Here's another throw to first base. A little better move by Vida. But Wynn has him figured out. The pitch to the plate. Garvey left it go by outside. It's 1 ball, 0 strikes. Gene Tenace of the A's holding the inside corner of the bag against Wynn, who's lengthened his lead a little bit, and he's not going. The pitch is a breaking ball, strike call. Vida, one of the bubblegum blowing champions of the major leagues. Here goes the runner. The pitch is taken, and he goes back to first base. Jimmy Wynn got a late break off first, and the fastball was up and away from the batter, and it's a good thing for Wynn that he went back to first. Fosse took that almost like a pitch out. He had not gotten up. It was not a pitch out. The A's don't pitch out too much with Vida. She's basically a fastball pitcher, and if it's coming, it's going to get there in a hurry anyway. No score. Last half of the first inning, game 2. Here's the pitch. Garvey goes for a high fastball and misses. Strike 2. The A's defense is set up with Ray Fosse behind the plate, Gene Tenace at first, Dick Green is the second baseman, Bert Campaneris the shortstop, and Sal Bando the third baseman. The outfielders are all playing deep for Garvey. That's Joe Rudi in left, Billy North in center, and Reggie Jackson in right. 2-2 count on the batter. Jimmy Wynn leading away. He's going this time, and the pitch is swung on and popped up short right. That's going to be a tough play. Going back for Gene Tenace. Turning around, he makes the catch. Basket style down the first base line. A very tough play out at almost no man's land. Jackson was not ever in the picture that time. It had to be Gene Tenace or nobody. Dick Green had gone to cover second base. So it had to be Tenace, and he meant back and made a fine play. After 1 inning here at Dodger Stadium, there's no score.
As you would expect to see in a World Series game, we are seeing excellent pitching again this afternoon. We have seen the Don Sutton curveball that got 2 strikeouts in the first inning and a foul out to the shortstop. Vida Blue with a good fastball did lose Jimmy Wynn and walked him, but nevertheless got out of the inning as nobody hit the ball out of the infield on him, and he struck out 1. It's all scoreless as we begin the second, and here again is Monty Moore.
Reggie Jackson of the Oakland A's is the leadoff batter. Joe Rudi and Gene Tenace will follow against Don Sutton. Jackson was hurt quite a bit this year. Still hit 29 home runs, drove in 93 runs, and had a .289 batting average. In addition to that, Jackson had 25 stolen bases. Sutton winding, throwing, and misses high for ball 1. What's it like playing in a World Series? Henry Aaron had an interesting comment about it in his book. Sutton's 1-0 delivery to Jackson, inside the ball. Aaron said, I wish I could write what it's like to play in a World Series and make you understand the feeling. If you're playing in a World Series and your spine doesn't tingle some when you walk out of that clubhouse for the first time, you're dead and don't know it. Pretty much the story of pressure in World Series baseball, with the eyes of the world tuned in. Here's a pitch. Jackson fouls it back. Sutton took a little off that pitch and left it right around the letters on Jackson. Two balls and a strike. Dodger right-hander throws, and it's swung on and missed. Strike two. Boy, Jim, I'd say he's challenging Jackson pretty well right here. Dodger's really around to the right on the infield. Sutton's pitch. High drive to left field. Down the line, going for it is Bill Buckner, and he's got it. Jackson hits a lot of balls to the opposite field. He has tremendous power that way, as he showed yesterday. He got under that one. And Buckner played it very cool, going to the foul line, just reached up and plucked it off one-handed. So there's one out in the second inning. Sutton has retired 4 in a row to start the game, and here is the A's leading percentage hitter for the year, Joe Rudi. Besides hitting .293, Rudi drove in 99 runs for Oakland. At his best home run year ever with 22. A very radical batting stance at the plate. Extremely closed up and goes down into a crouch. Pitches high and away. Rudi has real good power to right center field. He's hit many of his 22 home runs over the right center field fence this year. The Dodgers playing straight away. If anything, Wynn is shaded a bit towards left. The pitch to Rudi, swung and missed, 1-1. Like the slider that time. Sutton throws a hard slider, as Jim was talking about, the good curveball. And he will throw a screwball to left-handed batters. Rudi lays the bat right on his shoulder. Pitch to him, swung on and fouled down, and there's the big curve. They tell us the baseball really carries in the daytime here at Dodger Stadium much better than it does at night. It's a tough home run park in Oakland for night ball games, and that, of course, is where the next 3 will be played, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night. Rudi swings and misses, strike 3. Sutton threw the fastball by. Don Sutton had thrown him a couple of breaking balls and then came back up and in on Rudi and struck him out swinging. That's 3 strikeouts for Sutton. 2 out. Here's Gene Tenace. Gino hit only .211 for the year, but it was a mighty big .211. 73 runs batted in. He had 26 homers. Had some of his best days against some of the best pitchers in the American League. Sutton curves him, strike call. Oh, what a pitch. And he makes it look so easily done. The 0-1 pitch. Didn't take it, missed inside, 1-1. Lucky threw the slider that time. Sutton's delivery to Tenace. The bouncing ball hit foul off third. The A's coaches are at third base, Bobby Winkles, who coached Reggie Jackson and Sal Bando at Arizona State University and then went to the big leagues as the manager of the California Angels. The A's picked him up shortly after his release by the Angels this year, and he's been a very strong member of the A's coaching staff since coming over here. Pitches inside and high, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Bobby, like the Dodgers, Tom Lasorda, very enthusiastic man. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Tenace. Curve, foul back. First base coach for Oakland is Jerry Adair, who played with the Baltimore Orioles. Set American League defensive records. Jerry played 1 entire American League season, committing only 5 errors. Two out, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Sutton starts to go into his windup and stops it. He didn't have his footing, it looked like, on the rubber. High pitches. And it is in the dirt and coming to the backstop. Three balls, two strikes on Tenace. The Dodger infield here is very hard. It's a ground-up brick on the dirt part. Some high bouncing balls hit here yesterday. 3-2 pitch. Curve, a little high. He walked him. Gene Tenace has an eagle eye. If you ever saw anybody with one, he walked 110 times in the regular American League season. Here's Ray Fosse. Fosse's the second Oakland A's player in the last 3 years to have had a back operation during the season and to come back and play in the World Series. Dick Green in 1972 had a back operation early, came back and played in the World Series, and this year Fosse had a disc removed. Here's a pitch to him, and it's high for a ball. Latter part of the season when Fosse was trying to work his way back into shape for the playoffs in the World Series, he said it was just like having spring training all over again. He ended up in only 69 games. Here's the pitch to him. Curve strike call, a beautiful pitch. No score, top half of the second inning at Dodger Stadium, Los Angeles. The A's and the Dodgers, first ever California World Series. Here's a pitch to Fosse. Swinging strike, he threw him a slider. A little faster breaking ball than the curve. Very little wind here today. What there is blowing towards center field from home plate. Here's the pitch. Fouled away into the stands of the right field side. The last 3 World Series in a row have gone 7 games. And only twice in the last 20 years has any team won 4 in a row. Tenace off first base. Here's the pitch. Fosse takes it in the dirt, gets away from Yeager, goes to the third base foul line area, and Tenace goes to second base. So the Oakland A's get the first what you could call game condition break of the ball game. Like that was a wild pitch, probably hit in the dirt and caromed away. So with a count of 2 balls, 2 strikes. Only one thing about a big overhanded curveball like that, if it hits the dirt, the catcher has some pressure. That spin on it makes it bounce awfully crazily. Sutton's pitch to Fosse. Struck him out swinging with a good fastball. So that's all for the Oakland A's in the second inning. No runs or hits, the man left on, and the score is 0-0.
Ferguson.
Joe Ferguson, the leadoff batter for the Los Angeles Dodgers in the last half of inning number 2. Ron Cey and Bill Russell will follow against Vida Blue. And the first pitch is hit up into the air into left center field. He hits it well. Billy Norris, however, has room just short of the warning track to make the catch, and he's got it. Ferguson went after Vida Blue's first pitch. Got under it a little bit, but hit it very well. Norris had to turn away from the sunshine in left center. And now here's the man the Dodger fans affectionately call the Penguin, Ron Cey. .262 batting average. 18 homers, 97 runs batted in for the little third baseman. Blue starts him off with a breaking ball high and away. The Dodger coaches Tommy Lasorda at third base and longtime veteran, great Dodger, great individual, Junior Gilliam at first base. Here's a 1-0 pitch. Fastball tails off at 2-0 now to Cey. The A's are moving Reggie Jackson off the foul line way over into right center field on Cey. They're giving him 90 feet of the right field line. Fastball misses low, and Vida's behind now, 3-0. Here's a 3-0 pitch. He walked him. Ron Cey is on with 1 out. That's Vida's second walk of the day. And here's the Dodger shortstop, Bill Russell. Well, the Dodgers have been starting a lot of runners so far in this series. They like to hit and run play, and Russell, who can handle the bat, is up. Vida turns around to work off the stretch and throws to Russell. He takes high ball 1. The Dodgers may take a while now to see if Vida can throw strikes. Russell is the only Dodger who hit safely in every one of the playoff games against Pittsburgh. He also had hits here yesterday. So throw to first base. Vida just lobs it over there. Russell was born in Pittsburgh, Kansas. Makes his home now in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. As does Jim Brewer of the Dodgers. Strike call. Russell taking again. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. No score. Last half of inning number 2. Vida cuts loose again, and the fastball sails up and away. It's 2 balls and 1 strike. Dick Green, the A's second baseman, is coming in to talk to Vida Blue. Tenace is holding against Cey at first base, even though he's not too much of a threat to run. Here's the pitch. Low, it's ball 3. Russell can pretty well know what he's going to be getting here in the way of a pitch. He's got to figure Vida to throw him a fastball on a 3-1 count. Cey leads off first base. Here's the pitch to the plate, and it's a strike call. Russell was taking all the way. So the count is strung out to 3-2. So the numbers are different. But the count is really even on the batter and the pitcher because there's 1 left. There goes the runner from first. The pitch swung on it, popped up in the short right field area again. It's falling fast, and nobody will get there. It's a big hit. Here's Cey stopping at third base. With the runner going from first base, popped up down the right field line. Gene Tenace, the first baseman, was holding against the runner and couldn't get back to it. Reggie Jackson on a bad leg couldn't get to it, and now with 1 out, the Dodgers have runners at first and third base. Jim, it's almost as if the Dodgers have a scouting report they're exploiting, dropping those little bombs in behind Tenace in front of Jackson. Steve Yeager comes out to bat for the Dodgers. 41 runs batted in for the year for this big right-handed hitter. He had 12 home runs. At 266, the A's will play back. Russell might be running here from first base. Vida throws over that way and holds him close. Russell during the year had only 14 steals, but he likes to run. Vida's pitch to Yeager. Line shot to Campaneris right by him, and left field a base hit. Coming in to score is Ron Cey, and going to second and holding on is Russell. The Dodgers lead 1-0. Campaneris is left and into left center field for a solid single, and the Dodgers lead 1-0 with the pitcher Don Sutton coming up. Yeager jumped on Vida's first pitch and really ripped it. Sutton's lifetime batting average in the National League is 163. He's never hit a home run. But this year he hit 184, the second best in the National League among the pitchers. The A's are looking for him to bunt the ball here. Tenace is playing very shallow at first base. Vida Blue fires away. Sutton swings and misses, strike one. He got a Vida Blue fastball that time, the kind you throw when you're looking for somebody to bunt. But Sutton wasn't bunting. The Dodgers on top, 1-0. Here's a pitch. Sutton squares around, takes, and lets it go for a ball, 1-1. Wes Stock, the A's pitching coach, hustles out of the dugout and goes out to the field. There's nobody warming up in the Oakland bullpen. Stock might be spotting something that's making Vida Blue's fastball go up. When he's missing today, he's been missing high most of the time. So on two pitches to Sutton, one he was swinging, the second he was bunting but took it. So it's a ball and a strike. Now back to plate. Tenace comes toward the plate. Here's a pitch, taking a called strike. The A's infield turns over on that bunt situation with Dick Green, the second baseman, going to first. Gene Tenace, the first baseman, coming to the plate. Campaneris, the shortstop, covering second base. Sal Bando held his ground at third, figuring if the ball were bunted to the third base side, Vida would be the man to cover there. 1-2 count on Don Sutton. Runners leading away. The pitch on the way. Fouled away. Sutton had squared to bunt, but swung away and fouled it off. Tried to hit the ball by Tenace, who's been charging the plate as Sutton squares to bunt. One ball and two strikes. Vida's pitch. Swinging, strike three. Again, Sutton squared around, trying to bring the infield in. And then swung away. Nobody in the infield moved that time. Vida Blue gets his second strikeout. There are two down with two on, and the batter now is Davey Lopes. Well, Jim Simpson, I'd have to think it must be an exciting thing to watch this little guy play 162 games a year.
He's one of those, Maury, that when Lou Brock was making a run at Maury Wills' record of 104 stolen bases, which of course Lou broke, Lopes said, I'll be stealing 100 or more within a year or two. And Maury Wills thinks he can.
It's interesting to note that Maury Wills has worked with both the A's and the Dodgers on stealing bases in spring training. Charlie Finley hired Maury to work with Herb Washington. Vida throws to Lopes, and it's high for ball one. Russell's getting a huge lead down off second base.
You know, working with Mars, I do all year long. I can read Vida Blue, the pitcher, when he's going to first base. In those instances where he could, because when he looks at first, he comes home. When he looks home, he's going to first. And you learn such things being around Maury Wills.
He probably stole more of his bases on knowledge of the pitchers than he did on speed. Here's a pitch to Lopes. Strike, it's called. It's 1 ball and 1 strike now. The Dodgers lead 1-0. A walk, a pop fly single in the no man's land in right field, and a line shot to left center by Yeager. Lopes cocks the bat over the right shoulder. Vida Blue throws a curveball that's fouled off. Lopes was right on that pitch and fouled it. The pitchers Tuesday night, Catfish Hunter for the Oakland A's and Al Downing for the Los Angeles Dodgers. And they have both, as they say in baseball, been there before. Downing has been in World Series competition, as has Hunter. Blew down to the waist. Here's his pitch. Fastball hit foul off into the crowd. Vida Blue is a 17-game winner this year. Don Sutton a 19-game winner. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Russell at second. Yeager at first. The pitch to the plate. Swinging. Strike 3. He got him. So the Dodgers get a run in the second inning. They leave 2 men on base, and the score after 2 innings is 1-0 Los Angeles.
With Monty Moore, this is Jim Simpson at Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles. At the end of 2, the Dodgers are leading 1-0, but as they did yesterday, so they are again doing it today. Yesterday, the Dodgers left 12 men on base, had another one picked off, and yet another erased on a double play. They do lead 1-0, but they have stranded already 3 men in the first 2 innings of this game. The A's, on the other hand, very economical. When they do get some base runners, somehow, not necessarily with a base hit, they manage to get them around. But against Don Sutton, who has looked superb with that curveball, and he has struck out a couple of them with a high fastball. Sutton is now nursing a 1-0 lead, and the way he's pitching, well, who knows? We begin the third. Here's Monty.
Dick Green batting for the Oakland A's, the second baseman. The lead it off, then Vida Blue and Bert Campaneris. Sutton's first pitch of the third inning, misses low and inside, ball 1. Sutton this year pitched 5 shutouts in the regular season competition. Leading the Dodgers, who had 19 as a team. Green pops up in the short right. Second baseman Davey Lopes is going back, and he'll make the play. He's got it. 1 out, third inning. And the batter is Vida Blue.
Pitcher, Vida Blue.
As a batter, of course, Vida did not come to the plate during the 1974 season, had only 1 time at bat last year. He last batted in the 1973 World Series, went 0 for 4. Last time batting average in the majors, 0.98. He's hit 1 home run. That was 70. You've got to throw it where Vida's swinging for him to hit a home run. Sutton's pitch. Strike called. He threw him a breaking ball. Sutton had an easy wind-up throwing and hitting the corner with a slider. It's no balls, 2 strikes. The Dodgers won, the A's nothing. Game 2 of the 74 World Series, and Jimmy Wynn is adjusting his defense. He's moving 60 feet over to his left. Curve a little high. He was playing Vida in left center, and he moved without seeing Vida swing. But after 2 pitches. Sutton throws and strikes him out. Good hard slider right over the outside corner, about letter high. That is 5 strikeouts for Don Sutton. Over the season, Sutton walked 80 batters and struck out 179 in 276 innings. So he's gone through the Oakland A's batting order the first time around, striking out 5 of the 9, not allowing a base hit. Only 1 runner managed to get on. That was Tenace's walk on a 3-2 pitch. So the A's start over now with 2 out in the third, and here is Campaneris. Takes the breaking ball outside. 1-0. Campaneris down on the end of the bat against Sutton today. Has a big swing and fouls it back. 1 ball, 1 strike. Campaneris changes stances, he changes bats, he changes grips on the bat according to the pitcher, according to what he learns about him. Sutton's 1-1 delivery. Drops that curveball too much, it's 2-1. Two balls, 1 strike on Campaneris. Dodgers first baseman playing him deep. Campaneris, when he bunts for base hits, bunts that way most of the time. Here's the pitch. High and inside a ball, 3-1. He's playing him right even with the bag at third. Yeager hangs out a sign, and here's the 3-1 pitch. Line shot left field. Into the corner it goes. Base hit. Campaneris will try for two. He hits first in full stride, and he'll post into second with a double. Well, Don Sutton got behind Campaneris 3-1 and had the groove one a little fatter than he wanted. And Campaneris got a double. And that brings up Billy North, the Oakland A's center fielder. North, a switch hitter who ended up batting about the same each side of the plate. Right at 260 each way. So the A's are a hit away from tying the ball game. Campaneris big lead down off second base. Here's the pitch to North. Strike call. Yeager came up ready to throw. Nobody was covering second base. He showed yesterday he likes to throw. He threw behind the runner 3 times yesterday. Almost 6-2 off first. One strike count on Bill North. Sutton throwing to the plate. Bouncing ball in the infield. That's going to be a tough play. North is on his way to first base. The throw beats him there. Great play to the shortstop Russell. Billy North hit a chopper over the mound. Russell charged it hard from shortstop and gunned the throw to first and nailed a pass running Billy North. So the A's are out without a run in the third inning. They got a hit left a man on, and it's still the Dodgers 1 and the A's nothing.
Wilson won yesterday 3-2. The Dodgers lead today 1-0 as we go to the last of the third. And here's Monty.
Bill Buckner at the plate for the Dodgers. It'll be Buckner, Wynn, and Garvey against Vida Blue. Here's the first pitch to Buckner. He squared around, faked the bunt. He took it inside the ball. 1-0. Blue has walked 2 batters. One of them scored. Struck out 3. Sutton has walked 1 and struck out 5. Dodgers have 2 hits. The A's 1. The pitch to Buckner. Check swing, bouncing ball off his foot towards the mound. Vida picks it up. Throws the first, but plate umpire Bill Kunkel quickly called that ball out of play. Yesterday's crowd here at Dodger Stadium, the largest ever to see a game here at Dodger Stadium, but not the largest to see a baseball game in Los Angeles. In 1959, that World Series between the Dodgers and the White Sox drew an incredible number of 3 straight crowds, over 92,000 at the Coliseum. Here's the 1-on-1 pitch. Curveball hit up into the air to center field. Bill North going back. Turning around now and away from the sun makes the catch. Buckner gave that curveball a pretty good ride. Left-handed batter, left-handed pitcher, and a curveball, and he was right on it. Yeah, the series in 1959 drew 420,784 fans for only 6 games. There were some teams in baseball that didn't draw much more than that for the entire season, and that was just 6 games in a World Series. Here's Jimmy Wynn, and he hits the first pitch foul over the screen and back into the crowd. 92,000 people watching a baseball game, Jim. There must have been a lot of them who had to see it with field glasses.
You know that I saw a baseball game played with over 100,000. I'll tell you about it in a minute.
Pitch is a fastball strike on the outside corner to Wynn.
1956. The Olympic Games, Melbourne, Australia. The American Services and a group of Australians put on a baseball game exhibition, and more than 100,000 watched it.
Wow. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Just missing outside. Vida ran a fastball over the outside and just missed with it. One ball, 2 strikes. Wynn really looks ready at that plate. Poses his stance a little bit. Pitch rushes him back some at 2 balls, 2 strikes. Wynn drew 108 walks this year. It was second in the National League to his good buddy Joe Morgan, who had 120 walks. These guys get on enough by themselves. They had 100 and something walks. That means a lot of pitchers have aged considerably this year. Pitch is foul back. They walked him 9 times in the playoffs this year. That was a National League playoff record. Two balls, 2 strikes. 1 out, 3rd inning. Dodgers 1. The A's nothing. Wynn has a mighty rip and fouls it off the chest protector of the plate umpire, Bill Kunkel. The American League umpires wear a foam rubber chest protector, and it is outside of the shirt. The National League plate umpires wear a different kind of protector that is inside the coat. So they bounce a little more off this American League chest protector. Here's a 2-2 pitch. Fastball outside, and Vida really cut that one loose. But he's worked the count out at 3-2 on Wynn. When he walked the first time he saw it. Round comes the arm. Here's a 3-2 pitch. He struck him out looking. Jimmy Wynn takes the call, third strike, and argues with plate umpire Bill Buckner. So they're 2 down in the third inning, and the batter is Steve Garvey, the Dodger first baseman.
One of there might be some place the fact that Kunkel is an American League umpire, and they call the American League a high ball league and the National League a low ball league. Wynn has spent his entire career in the National League where he's used to the low strike. Maybe that caught him a little bit by surprise. But by American League standards and Bill Kunkel, it was strike 3.
He has a batting stance that gives him a pretty small strike zone. He's in there crouched and turned around crossways, and a lot of plate to look at out there, a lot of room around the plate. So they're 2 down. The pitch to Garvey. Fastball outside. Vida's fastball now. You can see it take off away from the right-handed batter. He hasn't been coming inside with that fastball against the Dodgers here today very much. There's a breaking ball hit on the ground. Campaneris backhands it down a deep shortstop. Throws the first in the dirt. Tenace came out and came up with it. Garvey safe at first. Campaneris' long throw out of the deep shortstop hole bounced about 10 feet out in front of first base. Gene Tenace gave a first baseman swipe at it, but could not come up with it. And looking at the television replay, it would have been awfully close, even if he hadn't come up with it. Tenace did a good job just keeping the ball in play, or Garvey could have gone to second base. So it's a base hit for Garvey. And here's Joe Ferguson. Big Dodger right fielder. Vida Blue ball is a little high, 1-0. Ferguson hit a ball deep into left center field his first time up. Boy, was he determined at that plate yesterday on that last out. He was really taking some risks. At Jim Hunter finally struck him out. Pitch is a little high, a ball. 2-0 to Ferguson. Oliver Austin has flashed the sign out to Lasorda, who gives it to Ferguson. I would doubt that he'd be taking here on 2-0. The pitch started to go. He didn't like it. He took a strike, and it is 2-1 now. Ferguson is a big guy. Garvey at first. Not too big a lead. Gene Tenace is holding against him there. Vida's pitch, foul back. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The Dodgers, from top to bottom in their batting order, have hitters in the lineup. They ended up with a team batting average of .272. Compare that with the Oakland A's team batting average of about .242. Dodgers led the National League in runs scored per game, averaging almost 5 runs a game. The A's were third in the American League, scoring almost 4.5 a game. They're very high, ball 3. So now the runner at first base will take off here, and they may move Gene Tenace behind that runner at first with a 3-2 count. Gino yells to Vida Blue and tells him he will play behind the runner at first. He's going to take off anyway. 2 down, a full count on Ferguson. Garvey takes his lead. He hits the second. Here's the pitch. It's hit up in the air, deep in the right center field. Reggie Jackson is coasting over to his right. Plenty of room. He makes the catch, and that's all for the Dodgers in the third inning. After 3 innings of play in Los Angeles, the score in Game 2 of the World Series, the Dodgers won and the A's nothing. Dodger Stadium, Los Angeles. Monty Moore with Jim Simpson. Happy to have you with us wherever you might be listening in around the world today. Sal Bando against Don Sutton. First pitch at a breaking ball strike right on the knees. Sutton has walked only 1 man. He has allowed only 1 hit. The A's twice have had a runner as far as second base.
The 0-1 pitch. Bando pops it up to the shortstop side. Ron Cey, the third baseman, is backing up to call for it, and he makes the catch. And there's one away in the fourth inning. Here's Reggie Jackson. He hit a fly ball down the line in left field the first time up. Jackson's inability to bust loose and really run hard hurt the A's on that top fly ball hit for the single by Bill Russell. That ball landed in an area where Dick Green, the second baseman, normally would have had to play, though. Here's the pitch. Curve high, ball one. But that's another thing a running game can do for you. It can break up the infield and break up normal coverages, with Green having to go to second base to cover. He was not able to turn and get over the foul line and make the catch on the foul ball, on the fly ball that landed just there. Here's the 1-0 pitch to Jackson. Strike. It's called 1-1. Sutton raises his leg, throws. Jackson has a big swing and misses. Back there. The count on Jackson. Here's the pitch. High foul ball back into the crowd. I think Sutton's fastball is underrated by what people had told the A's. They had said he didn't throw it that much and that it wasn't that good when he did, but he has thrown the ball by several batters here today. Of course, he set them up with a curveball, but his fastball has been very live today. Here's his 1-2 pitch to Jackson. Popped it up off third base, near the stands, and it is out of play, right on top of the dugout. The dugout boxes. They have a row of box seats here at Dodger Stadium, which are unique. They are actually below the playing surface. And you look up at the game of baseball while sitting in those seats. It's a unique view of a baseball game. Over 2,700,000 watched the Dodgers play in the regular season this year. One of the most exciting Dodger teams of all time. Sutton winds. Here's his 1-2 pitch. Just missed with the slider down and into Jackson. One out, fourth inning. Joe Rudi's on deck to follow Reggie Jackson, who is up with a count of 2-2 now. Here's the pitch. Slider again. He missed with it. Ball three. So he's at a full count on Jackson, 3-2. Guessing with Sutton, I think you'd have to guess breaking ball here. I don't think he'll give in to Jackson just to try to get it over. Here's the payoff pitch. There's a screwball. First time I've detected that he's thrown it today, and he missed with it for ball four. So Reggie Jackson is on. Boy, indeed, he didn't give in on it. So that pitch on a 3-2 count, you've got to figure that you're going to either get it over or Jackson will swing at a bad pitch. Here's Joe Rudi. That struck him out with a good live fastball in the second inning. The games in Oakland will be Tuesday, Wednesday, and dated Thursday night. They will start at 5:30 West Coast time. Jackson off first base. Sutton gives him a look, throws to Rudi, who swings and pops it foul into the crowd, just over the top of the A's dugout. And landed down just a little ways in front of an area where a lot of the A's players are sitting. Don Sutton, a winner in the big leagues. He's never been a 20-game winner in one season, but he's had 17 several times, 19, 18, and has a winning record. 139 victories, 113 losses in his major league career. One strike count on Joe Rudi. Jackson draws the throw. Rudy's ready. Here's the pitch. High. Yeager tries to pick Jackson off first again, and the throw is there a little late. Yeager has taken a shot several times at Jackson at first base in this series. Now, when you have a catcher who can throw that well and is not afraid to throw behind the runner, it's going to make that runner hesitate a little bit about getting another couple of steps as the pitch goes to the plate. And it could mean the difference in a double play or not a double play, or scoring on an extra base hit and not scoring. So a throwing catcher, just as important sometimes as holding a runner on and close as a pitcher with a good move. Turn and a throw back over to first base. The Dodgers are not fully convinced that Jackson can't run. Sutton brings his hands together. The pitch to Rudi is a fastball inside, 2-1. Well, it looks like low-scoring, low-hitting series coming up again this year, but did you know that in 1966, Baltimore swept the Dodgers in 4 straight, and only 2 runs were scored by the Dodgers in the 4 games. Another throw to first by Sutton. I think that was one of the most incredible pitching shows ever in a World Series. The last 3 victories were shutouts. 2-1 count on Rudi. Another throw to first base. Jackson was only off about 3 steps. Jackson did steal 25 bases this year, including 17 in a row at one time without being thrown out. 2-1 pitch. Rudi hits one high in the air to left field. Should be an easy play. Coming forward is Bill Buckner. Makes the catch. Jackson holds on at first. There are 2 down. Yea's first baseman, Gene Tenace, walked his first time up. Dodgers lead 1-0. Steve Yeager, 1-out single to left center field, drove in Ron Cey, who had walked, and moved to third on a hit run play. The pitch to Tenace, curve, strike, it's called. The 0-1 pitch. Back to the outside corner, 0-2. That was like a sneaky fastball. From here, I couldn't tell, but he definitely had Tenace frozen. After Bando pops up, Jackson walked on a 3-2 pitch. Rudi flying to left field, and now Sutton is ahead of Gene Tenace at 0-2. Here's the pitch. High fly ball foul off the left field side is going into souvenir country again. No balls, 2 strikes. The A's have only 1 hit so far. They won the American League Championship game over Baltimore with only 1 hit. The 0-2 pitch. Gino hits it in the air to the shortstop side. Cey is calling for it now, and in foul ground off third, he makes the catch. Don Sutton stopped the A's again, leaving a man on in the middle of the 4th inning. The score, the Dodgers 1 and the A's 0.
I'm Jim Simpson with Monty Moore. It's 1-0 as we begin the Dodger 4th. The man that'll lead it off is Ron Cey, who walked on 4 pitches back in the 2nd. Texas leaguer down the right field line by Russell sent into 3rd, and Steve Yeager hit the first pitch to left center field for a base hit and scored today, and that's the only run of the game as we begin the 4th. Dodgers lead 1-0. Oakland won the first game of the series yesterday, 3-2. And here's Monty.
Cey, Russell, and Yeager will be the first 3 batters for the Dodgers. Flat Campaneris so far in the game has walked 2. He has struck out 4. The Dodgers have 3 hits. Rocking windup, throw, bouncing ball, hit the short. Campaneris has to take it on the second hop. His throw to first is there in time, and Cey is out number 1. Vida Blue went to a no windup motion early this year when he was in a little bit of a slump, just to sort of change things a little bit, and he stayed with it rather than the big windmill windup which he used to use. Just puts the ball in the glove and reach in and sort of turns and makes the throw now. Bill Russell up now, and Reggie Jackson really shortens up in right field. Pitch is high, ball 1. Curls around and throws. There's a fly ball to right field. Jackson has to back up. He's going back and still going back, and he's there and he's got it. So Russell made a bid to hit one over the drawn-in outfielder's head. There are 2 down in the 4th inning, and here's Yeager. He certainly has gained the plaudits and admiration of everybody following the Oakland Ball Club as a very impressive catcher. He had 2 tough plays to make yesterday and made them. Breaking ball outside to him, ball 1. Bando crashed into him at the plate yesterday. Yeager put on the classic tag. He blocked the plate. He had the baseball in his right hand down in his mitt, and when the collision was over, he held up the ball in his right bare hand in a triumphant gesture of a tagout. The climax, one of the great plays from the outfield maybe in World Series history. 1 ball and 1 strike. Bouncing ball hits the Bando. He takes it on the second hop. The throw to first is there in time, and that's all for the Dodgers. We've gone through 4 innings. It's Los Angeles 1 and Oakland nothing. Well, the last of the 4th working to stay Russell and Yeager was by far and away Blue's most effective inning of pitching thus far. And the first time that he set them down in order. He got Cey and Yeager on ground balls and Russell on a lazy fly to right, and he retired the side on just 5 pitches. So that's the best Vida has done in staying around that strike zone since he has walked a couple and has gone to 3-2 counts on many occasions. The man on the mound for the Dodgers has done even better. He's walked a couple, struck out 5, and given up 1 base hit. A double to Campaneris on a 3-1 pitch back in the 3rd. And it's Don Sutton of the Dodgers who leads Vida Blue and the A's 1-0 as we begin the Oakland 5th. Monty? Sutton really won some big games for the Dodgers down the stretch. He not only won a lot of games, but big ones. He clinched the Western Division Championship for the Dodgers against Houston. He won 2 games in the playoffs against the Pirates. So they've handed the ball today to their ace of the staff. Dodgers, and it has not been talked very much about, lost one of the best pitchers in baseball. Tommy John had to have an arm operation this year. Ray Fosse's up, and Sutton starts him off with a pitch that missed it outside 1-0. Tommy John was the winningest pitcher in the major leagues when he came up with arm trouble. Had to have it operated on. Here's the 1-0 to Fosse. Frank called the slider, 1-1. Fosse, one of 5 strikeout victims by Sutton, his first time up. This pitch. Bouncing ball to the third baseman, Ron Cey. Backs up, takes a dirty hop, throws the first. Good play, he got him. First day in here, Tony Kubek of NBC was telling us how tough it is to play on this infield because, unlike the artificial turf around baseball, it does not give you a true hop. And Ron Cey almost got eaten alive on a second hop off the hard ground-up brick then and played it beautifully. And once he got it, he took his time. He knew Fosse wasn't a fast runner and threw him out at first base. Fine play by Dodgers third baseman Ron Cey. So there's 1 down in the 5th inning, and here's Dick Green, the Oakland second baseman. He pops the first pitch up behind the plate. There's no play. Dodgers got a run in the 2nd inning. They're hanging hanging on by that one run now. It's 1-0 Los Angeles. The 0-1 pitch. Curve breaking too far. It's 1-1. Sutton's delivery inside a ball. Two and one count on the A's right-handed batting second baseman. Sutton's pitch. Bouncing ball over the third baseman's head, but foul. Boy, the high chopper off that hard dirt. The A's have not been back home in Oakland since they won the American League Championship. They left a week ago today and went into Baltimore to play in the series there. So there will be a civic welcome home gathering at the Oakland airport tonight for the A's, who will be arriving in Oakland at around 7 o'clock. 2-2 count to Green. Fouled it back. The festivities will be at the cargo center at the Oakland airport, not in the main terminal. And the airport people have asked us to make that clear to the people back in the Bay Area. The main terminal will not be where the A's come in. It'll be at the air cargo terminal. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Dick Green. Swing and a roller foul off the third base side. Much contrast to yesterday's game, the Dodgers had a lot going from the first inning yesterday. Getting a lot of hits, leaving a lot of men on base. Sutton's 2-2 pitch. Curve is over the plate, but it must have been a little high. The right arm of Bill Buckner didn't come up. That one was close. You either have to be fooled or have mighty good eyes to take one like that on 2 strikes. Now the pitch. Struck him out on a slider. Swinging, strike 3. That's 6 strikeouts for the Dodger right-hander. And here's Vida Blue, the Oakland pitcher, who took a call third strike his first time up. 2 out, 5th inning. We're approaching the halfway mark of the game. Sometimes a hitter gets in a groove and he's hot for a long time. It's hard to get him out. Sutton has been in a groove as a pitcher for a mighty long time. There is a slider busted in there for a called strike to Vida. Oh, and 1 delivery. Low and inside a ball, 1-1. The groove Sutton apparently has been in for the past 3 months is one similar to Catfish Hunter. Hunter at one time this year was 8-8 for the Oakland A's. Ended up winning 15 of the next 17 games. Here's a pitch to Blue. That just barely misses somewhere. It's 2-1. 2 down in the 5th. Dodgers lead it 1-0. The pitch to Blue. Big swing and a miss, strike 2. I do believe Vida was trying to hit that one out of here. Two to Vida. And the pitch on the way is a little high. He's gone to 3-2. Sutton has made quite a few pitches today also. When you're striking out batters, you're making a lot of pitches. And he's been to 3-2 counts on several. 3-1 count on 1. And here he is, 3-2 on Vida Blue. Round comes the arm, and here's the pitch. He struck it out looking. Vida Blue is down on strikes, and the A's go in order in the 5th. The score in the middle of the 5th inning is the Los Angeles Dodgers 1, the Oakland A's 0. Well, we're ready for the last half of the ball game now. The line score for the first half, Oakland, no runs, 1 hit, no errors. The Dodgers, 1 run, 3 hits, and no errors. And it's our pleasure now to turn the NBC radio microphones over to a man who's been there before. This is his 6th World Series in a row. You heard his voice on the Super Bowl and the Bob Hope Golf Classic and the Wimbledon Tennis Championships, and wherever the ball is bouncing, being kicked or being hit, you hear him. Here's Gibson. And Monty, thank you. The ball has not been bouncing too much here because the pitching has just been excellent. And here's one of the 2 pitchers, Don Sutton, who struck out on the second. Sutton, of course, has allowed just 1 hit, as Monty said, struck out 7 and walked 2, facing Vida Blue, whom he just struck out looking for the 2nd time in a row as the top of this inning ended. Blue gives him a fastball at the knees, and it's strike 1. Sutton, as Monty told you, pretty good hitter during the regular season. Anytime a pitcher is better than 150, 150, he's a pretty good hitter. Ground ball toward the second baseman, Dick Green, on 2 hops, sidearms it, lazy throw over to Tenace, and Sutton pulls up short and goes back to the dugout. 1 out in the Dodger 5th. They're out in front 1-0. And a game much like yesterday. And that's the Dodgers have left a lot of men on. Very little scoring, except the position is reversed. The Dodgers lead today, whereas the A's were leading at this time yesterday. Davey Lopes grounded a Tenace in the first and struck out swinging in the second with 2 on. Speedster, that pulls in Bando. Even with the bag at third base. Tenace is slightly behind the bag at first base. The Lopes has all the speed in the world. The fastball misses outside. It's ball 1. North walks a few steps forward, left center field now as Lopes pops it up to the right side. Tenace shielding his eyes near the foul line. It'll be in fair territory and tracks it down. The sun is tough. The sun is tough. And Tenace has been called on a couple of times today to make the tough play. On Garvey in the first inning, he was holding the runner Wynn and had to go back into that sun, turn and look up. And then in the second inning, he was holding Cey and had to go back, and Russell's Texas leaguer dropped behind him and in front of Jackson. 2 out now in the 5th inning. And that'll bring up Bill Buckner. Struck out looking at a fastball in the first. And then Vida Blue hung a curve to him in the third, and Buckner hit it a long way. And North had to go to the warning track to haul it in. Buckner's now 3 for 7 in the series. Buckner, like Lopes, has speed, drills this one toward left field, but Joe Rudi started in, and that's that hard thing to do. Judge that line drive, but he hauls it in. And Blue has the quick hitting. The run hits the road. She's gone through 5, and it's still Dodgers 1 and A's nothing. At Dodger Stadium in brilliant sunlit skies. Dodgers are leading the Oakland A's 1-0. Dodgers with their ace, Don Sutton, going, trying to even up this World Series before they go back up north in California to Oakland for the next 3 night games. Campaneris leads off in the top of the 6th. Once again, here's Jim Simpson. And Cappy's having a fine series thus far. He is 2 for 4, 2 sacrifice bunts, including a squeeze bunt that got Holtzman home yesterday. He has the only hit against Sutton in this game, a double on a 3-1 count. This pitch from Sutton is inside, ball 1. Campaneris doubled down the line, a hard hit ball. And then Russell made a great play on Billy North's grounder to throw him out to end that 3rd inning. And that's as close as A's really come to challenge him. Tenace did walk in the second and went down to second base on a wild pitch. Pitching again, Sutton. It's now 2-0. Cey in near the edge of the grass at third. Campaneris has all that speed, 34 stolen bases this year. Sutton throws, and as a ground ball, just foul, and I mean just foul, but right there was Andy Olson of the National League straddling the line behind the bag at third, and he called it foul. From many places in this ballpark, I'm sure many people thought it might have been fair. But Olson was straddling the line, and of course behind him to back him up was Ron Luciano of the American League, down the line and left. So it's 2 balls, 1 strike to Campaneris. Sutton ready and throws, and it's fouled away upstairs, off to the right. Jim, that positioning of the National League umpire third is different from American League umpire positioning too. American League umpires always stand in foul territory when they're first or third base umpires. They never get into fair territory before the ball's hit. And for example, the American League umpire at second is playing on the outfield side of second base, whereas the National League umpire plays on the infield side. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Campaneris swings for the breaking pitch and strike out. Number 8 for Sutton. up Billy North was 0 for 2 and 0 for 4 in the series. And speaking of the positioning of the umpire at second baseman in the National League, Maury Wills, with whom I work, and he stole 104 bases, great base stealer, figures that the American League umpire has got the better shot at who's there first, being on the outfield side as opposed to be on the infield and turning around and taking a look, because he said most of the people will slide away from the bag toward right field, and you got a better shot from the outfield looking into the bag on fourth place. Unintentionally grounded, picked up by Lopes, underhands at the first base, and North is the second out of the sixth. Sutton now has retired the last 6 men in a row. Here's Bando, who is fouled up at the shortstop and popped up to the third baseman. Dodgers lead it by 1. That run scoring in the second inning on a walk, a Texas League single, and a line drive single by Yeager to drive in favor, the only run of the ball game. They play Bando first way around to the left and very deep. Pitch is outside to him, ball 1. Jimmy Wynn has swung way around in center field toward the left side. Bando's home run won one playoff championship game, and then he scored twice to win the last one to send the A's on to their third consecutive World Series. Down low, and Sutton is behind Bando, 2-0. And Bando takes a look at Bobby Winkles, the coach at third base. Sutton, the right-hander, throws, and Bando swinging on 2-0. He got a breaking pitch from Sutton, and it's 2-1. Well, they say pitching settles a short series. We sure have seen some pitching, haven't we? In the 2 games thus far, 2-1 pitch is drilled toward left field. Buckner's there for the line drive and one-handed. And again, Sutton puts them down in order. LeBron hits Harrison on left, and is on to the top of the sixth, and the Dodgers lead the A's 1-0. Remember that? Jimmy Wynn leads off for the Dodgers. Last time of the sixth inning, it's still one-handing the Dodgers. Jimmy Wynn in the first inning drew a walk on a 3-2 count, and then in the third on a 3-2 count, a fastball of Vida Blue topped the outside corner, and Wynn was caught looking. So he's 0 for 1 as we begin the sixth inning, and the Dodger fans, even though their team leads 1-0, want more on the board than that. The A's have a knack of winning, sometimes very late. Vida Blue has pitched very well. Allowed for 3 hits, struck out 4 and walked 2, facing Jimmy Wynn. Takes the pitch on the outside corner for a strike. Matter of fact, I can recall, because we were doing it on NBC, Monty, and you were there when, on one occasion, the A's were being held to no hits. This is fouled out of play. But they had scored an unearned run and went into the 9th inning with the Baltimore pitcher throwing a no-hitter leading 4-1. The final score of that game was Oakland 6 and Baltimore 4. The A's have a way of coming back. Blue is quickly ahead of Jimmy Wynn, 0-2. Comes in with a fastball and strikes him out. 0-2 count. Blue just simply blew that by him, if you'll pardon the pun, and that's strikeout number 5. And we'll bring up Steve Garvey, who popped out to Tenace. Very difficult play for Tenace in the first inning, and then his hard hopper was taken by Campaneris in the hole in the third, and his throw just didn't get there in time. Garvey had an infield hit. Garvey is now 3 for 7 in the series. Reggie Jackson has just asked for and gotten his sunglasses that in running to the outfield lost. What did he lose? His shoe? Glove. His glove. He went on without his glove. So now he's going to pause and tie his shoes. He knows the fans are looking at him now since he lost the glove, so Reggie took a little time and tied his shoe. I don't know if you were doing a football game that time. It reminds me of that game on national television. The guy was holding the football on about the 10-yard line, was going to spike it and dropped it. It's like Jackson going to the right field area here without a baseball glove. Standing waiting for all this to blow over is Garvey, who now stepped in. There was a frisbee on the field, and that further delayed our game. Ground ball up the middle. Campaneris goes behind second base, goes on the dead run, and safe. Garvey beats out another one. Great play by Campaneris. And had Garvey been out, would have been a superior play. Here's Ferguson, who's fly to north and deep center field and to right. And very quickly out. Tenace made the stretch there, and Vida Blue came over to see if he's all right. The trainer is out there with us. Joe Romo. Alvin Dark looking on. Tenace is standing there as Romo, the trainer, works on him. Well, you know, we are getting a little bit of feedback from our transistor radios here in Dodger Stadium because Dodgers and their fans always bring transistors here to listen to the broadcast, and I can shake them up a little bit here today at Dodger Stadium, Monty. At the end of the third quarter, the Los Angeles Rams 3, the Green Bay Packers 10. That's how you shake them up a little bit. Tenace remains in the ball game. Dark and trainer Joe Romo walk back to the dugout. Ferguson. 0 for 5 thus far in the series. But he really ripped one in the second, driving north to the warning track. Garvey, not a great stretch to go, is at first base, and a breaking pitch is up high to Ferguson, ball one. He looks down to Tom Lasorda. You know, the game is 1-0. There have been no real plays at the plate in this game. A's are now moving Jackson way over toward right center field against Ferguson. He was too far to the right. He's fighting his full hitter. This pitch misses, it's ball two. But my point is that on nearly every pitch, whether the people on base or not, you'll find the batter step out, look to the coach is looking in the dugout to the manager. They're playing every pitch. 2-0 to Ferguson. The wind is blowing out. Be more properly called it a mild breeze, blowing out towards center field. Fastball in the inside corner of the plate, under the hands of Ferguson as the strike. Dodgers have 4 hits thus far. 1 of them a Texas leaker, and 2 of them gloved by Campaneris. But so well placed he could not make the play in time. Drive to center field again. Billy North goes straight back to the warning track. Looking up at the warning track. It's gone. Dodgers lead 3-0 on the home run by Joe Ferguson. That ball went over the center field wall 400 feet away, dead center field, and was still on the line. And I'm sure that Oakland fans and Dodger fans everywhere are thinking, with a 3-run lead, what do you do about Don Sutton, who has won his last 11 in a row and 15 of his last 16? But the game still has time to go in the last of the 6th. The crowd is still buzzing as a couple of more frisbees hit the field and are being picked up. One is retrieved way out in center field. I remember in Atlanta one night, they had, frisbee is still holding around the infield. They had a frisbee night, and they almost had to forfeit a game because so many frisbees were on the field this year. And someone asked me, Marty, Jim, if you have a frisbee night, what do you normally do with a frisbee? Except throw it. Heck, yeah, temptation's too great. Dodgers 3, Oakland nothing, 1 out. Ron Cey is still waiting to step into the batter's box. As Reggie Jackson is now doing some policing out in right field, picking up stray bits of paper and throwing it into the A's bullpen. And now Cey, after a wait of a couple of minutes, will slowly walk toward the batter's box.
as Jackson takes his position back in right field. Dodgers hoping to square the 74 series at a game apiece before heading on to Oakland. Now lead 3-0. Fastball is fouled to the screen by Cey. Cey walked on 4 pitches and scored the first one of the ball game back in the second on the Yeager base hit and grounded to Campy in the fourth. Blue, the left-hander, ready, and throws him a breaking pitch, which is again fouled to the screen. And 0-2 to Ron Cey. Blue Moon Odom, and there was some question whether or not he'd be able to pitch in this series, is at least up and throwing now in the bullpen. For those who may not know, he and Raleigh Fingers had a little altercation the day before the series began, and Odom hurt his ankle. Fastball crushed inside and moved Cey out of there. It's 1 ball, 2 strikes. Blue comes back, and it's fouled again to the screen. Well, this is part of his 7th World Series game, the 4th start of his career in the World Series. 1972 started the 6th game at Cincinnati and lost 8-1. Last year he started the 2nd game, had no decision, and then the 5th game and lost 2-0. He's also relieved 3 times in the 72 series. 1-2 pitch is popped up to the right side. Tenace has got a battle at front again in foul territory, and one-handed for the second out. And that'll bring up Bill Russell. They'll technically cancel around the right field line and aside to right. The Vida Blue, who trails in this game 3-0, has a lifetime World Series record of no wins, 2 losses, and an earned run average of 4.58 in World Series play. But in the championship, as we said, it's a game of beauty against Baltimore, winning 1-0 on the Bando home run. Sends this one to left. Rudi started back. Now trots in, and that's the 3rd out. A 2-run score on 2 base hits, including the homer by Joe Ferguson. No errors and none left. At the end of 6, the Dodgers now lead Oakland 3-0.
Well, every day the excitement grows in the state of California for the 74 World Series. Another Dodger Stadium all-time record set today in attendance for game number 2. 55,989 here today. That's 15 more than they crammed in here yesterday. So in 2 days, they've had 2 record-breaking crowds here at Dodger Stadium.
Reggie Jackson will lead it off, Monty. I was just thinking, as Joe Ferguson went out to right field, they got a tremendous hand. Some players in a World Series or any national championship have a knack of being there at the right place most of the time. Ferguson was the man who threw out Bando yesterday. Ferguson was the man who, with a home run yesterday, could have tied up the game with 2 out and went down swinging. And Ferguson is the man who's unloaded a tremendous home run to center field to give the Dodgers now a 3-0 lead. And the series is only a game and a half old. Here's Reggie Jackson. He has walked once today and flied to left. Yesterday's home run has only hit of the series, was also hit to left field. Ball 1 to Jackson. Reggie's doubled to score a run. The only base hit the A's had in the final game of the championships was to the opposite field, off the wall. Strike called on the inside corner. Jackson turns and says a few words to umpire Bill Buckner. 1 ball, 1 strike as we begin the Oakland 7th. Temperature a little bit warmer today than yesterday, with the lows have gotten into the 80s. It doesn't feel like it. The Monty now sitting in the shade. Sutton, the right-hander, throws, and it's breaking pitch down low. 2 balls, 1 strike. Don Sutton has given up but 1 base hit. A 3-1 pitch that Campaneris drilled for a double into the left field corner back in the 3rd. That and a couple of walks have been his only mistake. He hasn't made many, and he'll have to make a lot if the A's are to get back into this ballgame. Sutton has looked superb. Base hit by Jackson to right center field. Jackson can still swing that bat, even though he cannot run because of the pulled hamstring. Now Joe Rudi struck out clean, looking at a fastball in the 2nd and fly to left in the 4th. And Rudi now is 2 for 6 in the series, and a very dangerous hitter. And had 22 home runs and 99 RBIs during the regular season. So the A's, who have a way, as we said, of scrambling back, or trying to scramble back here in the 7th inning, as Jackson leads off with a base hit. Sutton now working from the stretch. On deck is Gene Tenace. Strike at the knees to Rudi. Sutton, in this inning, is facing much of the home run power of the A's. Gave up a single at Jackson. Rudi hit 22, and Tenace on deck hit 26. But remember, Sutton, when he shut out the Pirates, as a matter of fact, beat them twice, allowing only a run in those two games, was beating the leading team. There's a ground ball toward shortstop. Could be double play. Russell, Lopes back to first base. It's high and it's safe. Rudi beats the throw. Jackson out at second base. That'll bring up Tenace. Started to say that the Pittsburgh Pirates led the National League in hitting this year, and Don Sutton set them down with only a home run to start with. So you know the kind of pitcher he is. Plus the fact he's won his last 11 in a row, and 15 of his last 16. Dodgers lead by 3. Rudi on at first with 1 out in the 7th. Breaking ball misses. Matter of fact, talking to Don Sutton after the game, the first game in which he shut out the Pirates, we knew that he didn't look at the scouting report of the Pirates. He'd faced them before. Pitch on the outside corner for a strike, but we did ask him about it. And he said, well, the team bus left at 10 o'clock. I didn't wake up till 10:45. I got here in time to start my warm-ups, and that was about it. Foul to the screen by Tenace. Mike Marshall is up and throwing in the bullpen for the Dodgers. In more than 100 games during the regular season. And of course, he appeared yesterday. So Walter Olson's going to make sure that there's no slip here, that Marshall will be ready should Sutton get in trouble. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Ground ball back to Sutton. He'll go to second base to Lopes. Lopes back to first base, and there's the double play. Don Sutton cuts the double play. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and none left. We go to the last of the 7th. The Dodgers lead it 3-0 over Oakland. Well, the World Series moves up to Oakland for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night. You might wonder how the Dodgers have done on the road and the A's at home this year. Well, the Oakland A's had the best home record of any team in the American League. The A's won 49 games, lost only 32 at home this year, while they won only 41 and lost 40 on the road. The Dodgers, on the other hand, led the National League in home wins and away wins. The Dodgers won 52 at home and 50 on the road. So it really didn't make any difference at all to them whether they were on the road or at home. They were a winning ball club. Last of the 7th, and Yeager 1 for 2 today. He drove in the first Dodger run. He is up. He's 2 for 5 in the series to face Vida Blue. It's incredible how the Oakland A's keep making news off the field as well as on the field. We've just been handed a statement of the Commissioner of Baseball's office, and I'll tell you what it says in a moment. Yeager fouls the first one off. You may or may not know that Jim Hunter has asked that he be declared a free agent because he says that owner Charles O'Finley of the A's did not live up to the contractual obligations for this year. Well, that's been going back and forth, and now Bowie Kuhn, the Commissioner of Baseball, says that there appear to be a bona fide dispute between the two parties, and after the World Series, he'll sit down with them both. Breaking pitch misses, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike to Yeager. So the A's off the field continue to make the news, and they're making some now, but it's the Dodgers in the driver's seat 3-0. Another breaking pitch down low between the legs of Fosse, and it's 2-1 to Yeager. Did you hear about the trade today? We told you at the beginning, Joe Torre, one-time MVP in the National League, traded by St. Louis to the New York Mets. For Tommy Joe Moore, a young pitcher, and the veteran Ray Fosse C. 2 balls, 1 strike, and Yeager goes the other way, fouling it upstairs off to the right. It's 2-2. The baseball game in Oakland will be on at night in the east. The late afternoon, early evening start in Oakland, California. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, ground ball up the middle. Yeager got another base hit. That's his 3rd of the series. And his second today, and the fifth off Vida Blue. Makes that the sixth off Vida Blue. Well, what do you think Don Sutton's up there to do? A pitcher likes to lead, but he'd much prefer to have a 4-run lead, and heaven is to have a 5-run lead, so a grand slam can't tie you or beat you. Well, I would imagine that Sutton getting a standing ovation here at Dodger Stadium is up there with the idea of moving Yeager down to second base. Tenace on the inside of the bag holding Yeager, preparing to break in. Yeager takes a 3 or 4 step lead off at first. Only stole a couple of bases. Sutton squares around, nice looking punt, picks up by Blue, got to go to first, and the sacrifice punt is complete. Sutton punts back to Blue, throws on the green, covering his first, and Yeager goes down to second. And now we go back to the top of the batting order, and Davey Lopes, who has hit in the series, he is 0 for 8. And yet his speed yesterday caused Campaneris to hurry his throw, allowing him to reach first base safely, and he scored all the way from first base on a drive to right and a fumble by Reggie Jackson. Now they got the bullpen going.
And Jim, that John Odom, he's throwing hard. I've been watching him. He's throwing very hard right now. Right along the side of him is Paul Lindblad, a left-hander.
One out, Lopes the batter. Drive down the right field line. Jackson glasses down, watching it, as it just does drift foul. Wow. Jackson looked like he lost it. He wasn't moving forward at all, and it was fouled by just a couple of feet all the way down to the 330 mark at the foul line. Reggie started very slowly and hesitantly, and now we can see him spreading his palms as he looks in toward the infield like, I didn't see it. It did not leave the ballpark. It would have been catchable, but he couldn't get to it. So Lopes for the light. The strike one count. Breaking pitch in under the hand, too far inside the Lopes, and it's 1-1. Dodgers have a couple of pitchers going in their bullpen. We can only see the catchers, not the pitchers. The two of them are out there throwing. Another breaking pitch. Misses outside. Drew abandoned his fastball here. 2-1. Fosse goes out to say something. As Lasorda, the third base coach, yells in to Lopes. Dodgers have their 3 runs on 6 hits and no errors. Oakland has no runs. Nobody's got as far as third base. 2 hits and no errors. Yeager, big lead off second base. There's the fastball, and it's drilled again down the right field line, but this one is well deep and foul. Wow is now throwing, along with Marshall, for the Dodgers. Doug was thought to be a possible starter in this series, but it will be Al Downing on Tuesday night against Jim Catfish Hunter, who surprised most people by coming into pitch to one batter in relief yesterday. Good to Lopes. Fastball, inside and high, and it's 3-2. Blue throws the fastball, drilled up, one right center field, put it on its way over toward the warning track. He's at the warning track, and one hands it. Yeager tags up and moves on to third base after the catch. On drive off little Davey Lopes. The fifth leadoff man did hit 10 home runs during the year. And that'll bring up Bill Buckner. Hitless today. 0 for 3, 2 for 8 of the series. Don Sutton is 6 outs away from squaring this World Series, and in the 8th inning will face the lower part of the Oakland batting order. Ken Holtzman and Riley Fingers did the job yesterday, along with Catfish Hunter and Don't Fault Andy Messerschmidt. 2 outs, the Dodgers have a man at third. Buckner can handle the bat, squares around, grounds it on the first pitch to Dick Green at second, easy chance, and Blue and the A's are out of the inning. No runs on 1 base hit, no errors, and Yeager left at third base. At the end of 7, Dodgers 3, A's nothing. With Monty Moore, Jim Simpson back in Oakland, we began the 8th, and Alvin Dark is beginning to make the move. He has set up Jesus Lou to bat for Ray Fosse here in the 8th inning. And on deck is Cordell Washington, who will bat for Dick Green, the second baseman. Time is running out on the 8th in this second game, and they're down 3-0 to the Dodgers. Lou, of course, long-time National Leaguer, has seen Don Sutton many times before. Lou's a right-handed batter, big man, but does not necessarily hit for power. Sprays the ball to all fields. One of the most nervous men up at the plate you've ever seen. Jerks his head around and his bat. Takes ball one from Sutton. Always looks as though something's wrong with Jesus' neck. He holds his head way back as though he's trying to get rid of the pain. Puts his foot in the bucket and swings on a Sutton curveball and misses. And it's 1 ball, 1 strike. Oakland goes home tonight. The Dodgers will fly up to Oakland tomorrow. We resume on Tuesday. Sutton comes back with another pitch that's inside, and it's 2-1 to a Lou. Cordell Washington, who will practically be going home when he goes up to Oakland, standing on deck. The 2-1 pitch from Sutton shows him the breaking ball. Foul tipped at the plate. 2-2. Matter of fact, you can correct me, Monty Moore. Cordell Washington a year ago wasn't 2 years ago, wasn't even in baseball, was he? How many years ago?
Yeah, that's right, Jim. He's had 2 minor league seasons, not even 2 full ones. He had 1 full one, and then with the Birmingham Ball Club early this year, got called up in July. But the last couple of years, he's been sitting in the stands in Oakland watching the World Series as a kid.
Incredible story. Fastball, and he has the Lou full. He swings and misses, and Yeager drops the ball, then tags him, and then throws him out anyway. So that's strikeout number 9 for Don Sutton, who is trying to win a game for the Dodgers to tie the series to the game all. And if he does, he will have won his 16th game in his last 17 decisions, and will have won his 12th in a row. Now Cordell Washington remains standing, and Jim Holt, who batted yesterday as a pinch hitter, 234 here during the regular season, comes up again. Holt yesterday came up in the 9th inning with 2 men on and 1 out, and popped up to Russell, the shortstop. Dodgers 3, Oakland nothing in the top of the 8th. The shadows now have begun to creep across Dodger Stadium from behind home plate. They've almost reached home plate at the moment. Sutton throws a pitch up high to Holt. Cordell Washington remains on deck. As Odom continues to throw, probably have seen the last of Vida Blue. They will hold judgment and see what happens. They play Holt the other way. Not a long ball hitter. Sutton ready and throws and misses inside. It's ball 2 to Holt. Holt looks down to Bobby Winkles to see whether or not it's 2-0 ahead of Sutton. Should he swing or should he take? Hayes now on the base runners and runs. He's taking all the way, and it's 3-0 high and inside. During the regular season, Sutton started 40 times and finished only 10 times. 3 balls, no strikes. You know Holt's there to take now, and there's a strike at the knee. Let's see if the take sign is still on. Holt awaits the flashing of the signs by Winkles and now steps in. And he's taking all the way, and he's got strike 2. 3-2 to Holt. Both bullpens continue busy. Sutton into the windup and throws, and the ball is popped up foul. Questionable whether or not it'll be playable. It will not be. It'll fall in those seats about 4 rows deep. Count remains 3-2. Oakland tomorrow will work out at the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum at noon. The Dodgers are flying up tomorrow. We'll work out at 5 in the afternoon. And then Tuesday, late in the afternoon, early evening, we begin again with Game 3 of the World Series right here on NBC. 3-2 the count with 1 out, and Holt swings and foul tips it. Harold Knowles now begun to throw. Out in the bullpen for the Oakland A's. Dodgers up by 3 with 1 out of the 8th. The 3-2 pitch is popped up again and fouled back toward us. There have been 15 previous World Series games dating back over the last 3 years. And this is the 16th game that the Oakland A's have been in, and the 16th game in a row that their starter has not been around at the finish. Three-two count. Yeager out of play for the moment. Just his glasses now. Puts the mask back on and is ready for the 3-2 count again. 3-2 hold has fouled off the last 2 pitches. Sutton is ready and throws, and it's popped up and fouled again. Again behind the plate, and again it'll be out of play and into the seat. Washington remains in the on-deck circle, swinging that bat, hoping that Holt gets on. Sutton into the windup and throws, and there's a base hit to right field. Holt hung in there, fouling off 3 pitches before coming up with a third base hit. Now Maxwell is going to run for Holt. He comes on base. As Porter Washington will come up. Washington, the youngster, hit .285, got a home run hitter, 19 RBI. So Vida Blue is all through. In this game of the World Series at least. Blue worked 7 full innings, gave up all 3 runs, including the 2-run homer to Ferguson. 6 hits, struck out 5, and walked 2. Cordell Washington takes a strike at the knees. Cordell is a young man who broke up the victory scheme for Gaylord Perry, the Cleveland Indians. Wasn't even aware who was the pitcher out on the mound. Youngster new to the major league. Dangerous hitter. Swings and misses the breaking pitch, and Yeager has the ball pop out of his glove and fights to keep it in front of him. Holding Maxwell on at first base. 2 strikes to Washington. No matter what happens here, barring a long inning, at least the A's will be able to give it their best shot in the 9th inning. They'll be back to the top of the batting order at least. Breaking pitch just missed. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Washington watched it all the way, and it was very close. And at the moment, Washington had an 0-2 count on him. Sutton rubbing up the baseball. Breeze has sprung up, but this time it's changed direction a little bit, going toward left. Washington is a left-handed batter. Sutton ready and throws, and this is hit off to the left, but out of play behind third base in the seat. Al Downing for the Los Angeles Dodgers, Jim Catfish Hunter for the Oakland A's when we resume in Game 3 Tuesday evening from Oakland, California. A's now scrapping to get back in this ball game. They're down by 3, and we're in the 8th inning, and there's a foul tip to the screen. Washington just got a little piece of that ball. Still 1-2. 55,989 are here today, and that's 15 more than showed up yesterday, and that was a record then. 1-2, Maxwell with the lead off. There's a ground ball in the hole, base hit. Maxwell is on his way to second base, will stop there at first, and they know his arm. It was a very shallow hit ball anyway, but he wasn't going to test the arm of Joe Ferguson. And now Walter Alston is coming out. As after striking out a Lou, Sutton has given up base hits to Jim Holt and Cordell Washington. As the pinch hitting prowess of the Oakland A's in evidence here in the 8th. their backs to the wall. With 2 on, that means Campaneris coming to bat represents the tying run. And so Walter Austin may have seen enough of Don Sutton, who has certainly done the job here this afternoon, allowing with 4 hits and no runs, and nobody yet has gotten as far as third base. Austin is walking off the mound, and Sutton is going to stay in the game. A's were shut out 11 times in the 152 games this year. And Dick Bosman, a no-hitter against them once. Not a hitting team for average, but they managed to score enough runs to beat you most of the time. Campaneris, 1 for 3 today. He has a double off Sutton, stepping in there, and the pitch is outside. Matter of fact, someone described the A's in the paper this morning as like being a golf hustler. If they got to shoot with 69 to beat you, if they do, if an 85 will beat you, they'll shoot an 85. 1-0 the count to Campaneris. Campy fouls it out of play, and it's 1-1, off to the right. Campaneris yesterday, leading off in this ball game, drove Wynn deep to the warning track. And he doubled in the left field corner today. So he can swing the bat with authority, even though his season average shows just 2 home runs at 19 in 1 year. Count is 1-1. Maxwell down at second, Washington on at first, and there's a ground ball foul behind the plate. And Sutton's ahead of Campaneris. On deck is Bill North. Jerry Adair walks over to say something to runner Washington at first base. Sutton steps on after looking back to the runner Maxwell. Now appears to Yeager. And steps off and brushes him off. One ball, 2 strikes. Ground ball toward the hole. Russell there. Comes up with it. Bobbles the ball everybody's face. Russell looks at third. Was going to make the double play to second. Had to play in front of him at third base. And in the moment of indecision, bobbled the ball. He had 39 errors during the regular season. He is a converted outfielder and came up with an error, and here the A's are again. They got the bases loaded. For the first time today, they've got a man over as far as third base. So Maxwell is at third, Washington at second. Campaneris is at first with 1 out, and Bill North 0 for 5 in the series coming up. North has great speed, difficult to double, but is not a long ball threat. 3-0 the Dodgers, and we're in the top of the 8th, and the A's are strapping back. Sutton throws way high to North. Anytime you see a pitcher get the ball up, you begin to worry. Blue kept getting the ball up to the tough Dodger hitters and finally got it up too far to Ferguson, and he pounded it out of here more than 400 feet away. Sutton back, and there's a ground ball foul down the third base line. And it's 1-1 to Billy North, who himself played in the National League with the Chicago Cubs a few years back. The count. Sutton has slowed down his tempo a great deal, taking a lot more time now with 3 men on, and he is in trouble for the moment. 1-1 pitch is again high with a fastball, and 2-1. Dodgers want this game. Dodgers depended on getting this game, starting their ace, Don Sutton, today, figuring also that Messersmith had enough to win it yesterday. No team has ever lost the first 2 at home and then gone on to win a series. Dodgers haven't lost this one. They're leading by 3. But that possibility was talked about a great deal before the game began. The 2-1 pitch is popped up foul back toward us. And it's 2-2. The North. A's are hoping at the very least to get out of this without a double play, because waiting on deck is Sal Bando. And the Los Angeles crowd has had enough bad news for today, because Green Bay has upset the Rams 17-6. And if the roof falls here in the 8th inning, it's going to be a bad day in Los Angeles, California. Singer brushes off the pitch again. And now time is called. When a Dodger brushes off above the waist, he's telling his catcher to add one to what he's called for. When he brushes off below the waist, he's telling him to subtract. In other words, if you put down 2 for a curve, below would be subtracted to 1, a fastball. Throws him a change, the ball is popped up foul and back into the seats again. 2-2. So Sutton and the Dodger pitchers will brush off above the belt or below the belt, saying add 1 to your call or subtract 1. Dodgers 3, Oakland nothing. Oakland with the bases loaded, 2-2 count, 1 out in the 8th. Off the switch hitter batting left-handed against the right-hander Sutton, and that's low, looking down. Did he go around? And the third base umpire, who is a National League umpire, Andy Olson, said no, he did not go around. So it's all the way, 3-2 with 1 out. Sutton takes a hit at that belt, touches the brim of his cap, stares down, and now looks in for the sign. And brushes it off. Now ready. Now throws. Ground ball up the middle. Russell there. Goes to second. Throws to first. Got it. Garvey picks it out of the dirt. Russell almost threw it away. But they come up with a double play. And on a man like Billy North, that's tough to do. No run. 2 hits. 1 big error. And 2 men left on. We go to the last of the 8th. Dodgers 3, Oakland nothing. Well, back at Dodger Stadium, the Dodgers ran off the field and went over to the dugout to shake hands with Steve Garvey. He really made a tremendously big play for the Dodgers because Russell's throw to first base was on the right field side and it was in the dirt. Garvey had to backhand the ball, keep his foot on the bag to get a speeding Billy North. And Russell at second base looked for a while as if he didn't know whether to toss the ball a lope or to go to the bag himself. He was playing up the middle. He got to the bag, stepped on second, and threw to first, and almost threw the ball away. And had he have done that, the A's would have had a man in, and another one as far as third base. So Steve Garvey made the big defensive play of the afternoon right there. The A's now have several changes. It's Larry Haney coming in to catch for Oakland. Now Maxfield, who went in as a pinch runner, goes to second base. The A's have Waddell Washington in center field now. Billy North is out of the ballgame. Lonnie, Billy North went out to take his position. Waddell Washington went out there. North came back, and here we go again. North threw his glove when he hit the dirt in front of the Oakland dugout and then took off his hat and threw that too. He is out of the game after grounding into the double play.
Well, he probably doesn't realize why he was out, why he was taken out at this time. I would imagine that Alvin Dark is putting these new players in, has shifted the lineup a little bit, and since Billy North was the last man to bat, they're able to get somebody else in the batting order, and we'll find out what that order will be. But Larry Haney, the new catcher, is in. John Odom has more than likely gone into the batting order in Billy North's spot.
Well, somebody better tell Billy that, because he didn't think too much of it when he came out. We're in the last of the 8th inning, and Jim Wynn, who got a home run in the 9th inning yesterday, but has walked and struck out twice today, will lead it off, to be followed by Garvey, who made a game-saving catch for Happ when he dug out that erratic throw of Russell's at first base for the double play. Now, Russell, when he got the ball, looked to second base. You could see him think to himself, you don't want more than the minimum amount of people to handle the ball. So he was thinking of tossing the ball to Lopes, then thought better of it, ran to second base, and by that time, North, with all that speed, had an extra step going toward first, and Russell hurried his throw, and Garvey dug it out. 3-0 the Dodgers, last of the 8th, and Blue Moon Odom, the pitcher. The base, Jim Wynn. Odom, the right-hander, throws a strike. Dodgers 3 runs, 6 hits, an error that did not hurt them. Oakland, no runs, 4 hits, and no errors, and only 1 real threat. And that was in the top of this inning when they had the bases loaded, thanks to a couple of hits and an error, and only 1 out. Odom back again with that exaggerated windup of his and throws inside. 1 ball, 1 strike to Jim Wynn. This is Lou Odom's 5th World Series game. He's lost his only decision. Swing and a miss by Wynn. And it's 1-2. During the regular season, Odom got in 34 games. And his one-loss record and his earned run average were not good. He won 1, lost 5. Earned run average in a relief pitcher, remember, 3.81. Odom back to throw 1-2. Breaking ball misses outside. And 2-2 to Wynn. Leadoff batter in the last of the 8th. The A's have one more chance. And it'll be Bando, Jackson, and Rudi in the 9th. It's Odom's job to hold the Dodgers here in the 8th. Swinging, Wynn tried to check up on an inside pitch. He knew that he did not check up on it. Says a few words to Bill Kunkel. But he is a strikeout victim number 1, and that's the 3rd straight time that Jim Wynn has struck out today. The breaking pitch inside, and Wynn started and then wanted to hold up, and just no way could he. Garvey today popped out and has 2 infield hits off the glove of Campaneris. Garvey has 4 hits in the series in 8 attempts. That's 500. And he has made a game-saving play, perhaps. We say that because who knows what would have happened. But he made a great play today of digging the throw out of Russell in the top of this inning. Odom throws, missing outside, ball 1. Dodger crowd again grows quiet. As Odom is back to throw, and Garvey waves at this one, and that's strike 1. Again, a hesitant swing against the breaking pitch of Odom. One ball, 1 strike. Another breaking pitch, and another swing and a miss, and it's 1-2. Garvey waits, and so does Odom, and Garvey got tired of waiting and stepped out on it. Now steps back in. And the 1-2 pitch from Odom, and he strikes him out. He has struck out 2 men in a row, and apparently that sprained ankle, Monty, is all right.
John told me before the game today that he was definitely ready to pitch, and he knew he was going to have to prove it to them, and I was watching him very closely in the bullpen as he warmed up. He started off very cautiously and then started throwing harder and harder, and he was looking real good in the bullpen.
Joe Ferguson gets a big hand, and well, he might. After the throw he made yesterday, after battling Hunter yesterday as the game ended, and for his 2-run blast in the 6th today on Vida Blue, that speared the center field wall, and by plenty. Ferguson, the big right-hander, facing the right-hander Odom, takes a strike. Odom is throwing nearly nothing but strikes, and fooled both Wynn and Garvey, who went down swinging. John into his windup again and throws a fastball that misses inside and low. 1 ball, 1 strike. Monty made the remark yesterday, and I'll repeat it today. The Dodgers, there aren't too many catchers around, really. When you go through all of the teams in both leagues, the Dodgers have 2 excellent catchers, and Ferguson today playing right and Steve Yeager. They are blessed. And Odom took something off that pitch, and Ferguson was way out in front of it, and it's 1 ball, 2 strikes. Well, if the A's get nothing else out of this game today, if they lose the game, at least they have the right to know that Odom is available to pitch. He has looked very good here against Wynn and Garvey, and now he's ahead of Ferguson. 1 ball, 2 strikes. That one is low and away blocked by Haney, the new catcher, and it's 2-2. Al Downing scheduled to go Tuesday evening in Game 3 against Jim Catfish Hunter as this World Series switches from Southern California to the Bay Area of Northern California. 2-2, 2 out, and that pitch just misses. Odom strides off the mound. It's 3-2. All the way to Ferguson. The fans want to see their favorite Joe do something here on 3-2. Odom is ready and throws, took something off. It's too high, and he has walked Ferguson on the 3-2 count. And that'll bring up the Penguin, Ron Cey. Was walked and scored and grounded out and fouled out. On a game in Chicago's Wrigley Field earlier this summer, NBC Television put a microphone on Tom Lasorda, the third base coach. The Dodgers were well down to the Cubs at the time in the late innings. They had men on base, and Lasorda was heard to mumble, if they throw him a low fastball, he'll hit it out of here. They threw him a low fastball on the next pitch, and he hit it out of there. Cey has fine power, 18 home runs, 97 RBIs. Dodgers are loaded from top to bottom. Ferguson short lead off first base. Odom throws and misses outside. Ball one. Dodgers lead it 3-0. Last of the eighth. Odom back and swing and a miss by Cey. It's 1-1. On deck is Bill Russell. The shadows have now extended past home plate all the way up to the pitcher's mound. Odom is standing in the beautiful Los Angeles sunshine. Cey is in the shade. One ball, one strike. And Odom ready. Throwing and just misses. 2-1. They're sort of clapping it up, looking into Waldorf and then the dugout. Two balls, one strike, two out. Ferguson at first base. Odom throwing, and it's way high, and it's 3-1. Cey will again take a look down to Lasorda. Lasorda's already looking into Austin. Does he give the Penguin the sign to swing on 3-1 with Russell on deck, two out? Whatever that sign is, Cey has it and steps back in. Odom glances back at Ferguson, now steps off to bluff him back. Is running on 3-1, and it's safe at second base. Ferguson was running on 3-1, and Cey never offered at the pitch, which was a strike, and Ferguson steals second base. And the count is 3-2. And that sends me hustling to the statistics which show that Ferguson stole only 2 bases all season long. He's having quite a series. At the bat, on the bases, 3-2, big lead off second base, and the ball is hit high to short left field. Out goes Campaneris. In comes Rudi, waving off Campaneris, and has it for the third out. So no runs, no hits, no errors, and Ferguson left at second base. The A's have one more chance as we go to the top of the ninth. The Dodgers lead 3-0. At Dodger Stadium, Los Angeles, the Oakland A's are down to their last 3 outs of the ball game. They'll have to do a lot with 3 outs to win this one. Don Sutton has been superb with only one shaky inning, really, and that was the 8th when 2 A's pinch hitters crawled off the bench and got singles to keep an inning going. An error loaded them up, but then the double play changed it all. To the 9th, here's Jim Simpson. 9th inning, it'll be Sal Bando, Reggie Jackson, and Joe Rudi, home run hitters all, against Don Sutton, who set them down without a run thus far and only 4 hits. And the first pitch hits Sal Bando. So Bando is hit by the pitch on the left shoulder and goes toward first base. In the last 32 innings plus of pitching, Don Sutton has allowed 1 run. That's by Willie Stargell, a home run on Wednesday. Joe Romo, the trainer, going out to take a look at Bando's left shoulder that was hit by the pitch. I televised a game, Monty, in which Sutton shut out the Pirates by the same score, 3-0 a week ago yesterday. I didn't see the other game because I was in the American League Championship then, but my point is, this is the 18th inning that I've seen Don Sutton pitch, and I haven't seen anybody score off him yet. The way he's pitching, it's certainly not surprising. He's been in complete control of the ball game from the first almost, just moving the ball around. Not an overpowering pitcher, but certainly a pleasure to watch. He's a little bit like Jim Hunter in one respect. If Don Sutton should complete this game, he'll be the first since the 1971 series, when Steve Blass did it, to pitch a complete game in World Series play. Throws a strike on a breaking pitch to Jackson. Jackson, 1 for 2 today, plus a walk, had a home run yesterday, and 2 for 5 in the series. He was the MVP in last year's series. Hurt the year before and did not play. Scoring what proved to be the winning run in a championship game in a series with Detroit. That was 2 years ago. Came back last year after having watched the 72 series on crutches to be the most valuable player. Ground ball pass Day on a check swing at third base. Didn't mean to do that, and on to third base goes Sal Bando, and down to second base goes Jackson with a double. So the tying run and Joe Rudi will be coming to the plate with Gene Tenace behind him. Now they say that the A's find a way. This is far from over. But Sutton hit Bando, and then Jackson tried to check his swing to get out of the way, bounced it past Day, who was pulled over towards second base, and legged it into a double. So runners are second and third with none out. And every man that comes to the bat from now on represents the tying run. And Rudi and Tenace are home run hitters. And Walter Austin is out. And this might be the spot again for Mike Marshall. But Jackson hardly really slugged Don Sutton with that. He was backing out of the box. The ball glanced off his bat. Over such velocity, it bounded past Say at third base.
They've just made the sign, Jim. They're going to bring in another pitcher, and I don't think Steve will have to guess too long what pitcher that's going to be. Well, Don Sutton, I believe, was showing signs of tiredness in the 8th inning. And then here in the 9th inning, the first pitch, the fastball that he'd been getting away from Sal Bando. He looked like he's trying to crowd him with it, and it just got away from him and came and hit Bando on the shoulder. And from little stones, big buildings are built. And that little start where Sal Bando was hit on the shoulder, then Reggie Jackson, a check swing bouncer to the left side, and put the pressure on. In broadcasting the A's, Jim, for the last 13 years, particularly the last 3 or 4, though, we've had kind of a saying around Oakland that the A's don't win them easy and they don't lose them easy. It just seems that always in the 9th inning, they get something going. Here's a great standing ovation for our great pitcher, Don Sutton, coming out of the ball game. And so now, Monty, we will not have a complete game. The last was Steve's last. You know, he got the controversy talking with the baseball people about Mike Marshall. Everybody knows that he's a screwball pitcher. Well, a screwball is a ball that your right-handed batter will come down and duck in 40. But Mike Marshall, they say, throws another kind of screwball that goes away. Well, all the baseball men I know, including myself, said, how can a man throw a screwball which ducks down and into a right-handed batter and away from a left-handed batter, throw one that goes into a left-handed batter or away from a right-handed batter? And Jim Brewer, another Dodger bullpen pitcher, was standing there and said, I don't know how he does it. And I know it's impossible, but he does it. So supposedly, he throws 2 different kinds of screwballs. Whereas baseball figures there's only one kind of screwball. The other has to be a curve of some sort. But in any event, Mike Marshall had more than 100 games during the regular season, and he was in yesterday, of course. Pitching in the 9th yesterday, giving up 1 hit, striking out 1, is back again. And he will be facing the tying run at the plate. On third base is Sal Bando after being hit by the pitch. On second base, Reggie Jackson. Marshall pitched 208 innings as a relief pitcher. Gave up 9 home runs in 200 innings. So you know how difficult that is. Down at second base, Reggie Jackson and Davey Lopes are having a conversation. Well, this is the 109th game for Mike Marshall this year, including playoffs and yesterday's World Series. All right, Rudi is ready, but we tell you again that Marshall does not give up the home run easily, only begrudgingly. But we have Joe Rudi, who hit 22 during the regular season, Gene Tenace, who hit 26. Rudi up there to swing away, or remember he tried to punt his way on yesterday. Might try anything, and is swinging at the first pitch. Strike 1. On deck is Tenace. Our score is 3-0. We have none out in the top of the 9th. Marshall, the right-hander. The student, the professor. Throws. Line drive, base hit.
2 runs will score, and it is 3-2 as Rudi comes and gets the base hit off Marshall, and the A's with Donato right back in the ballgame with a tying run on at first base. And Reggie Jackson may have a full hamstring muscle, but you should have seen him fly home from second base on that base hit. Now Tenace is up. It's 3-2, and the A's come scrambling back.
And when a situation such as this, you got to start thinking about Herb Washington possibly coming into a ball game. The A's are down by only 1, and he's the A's designated stealer, they call him. And if he comes in here, it'll be one of the biggest tests he's had all year.
Tenace swings and fouls as Angel Manguel comes out to the on-deck circle.
They have Herb Washington up in the dugout. Tenace was standing off away from the plate, looking in there, sort of expecting that they might pinch run for Rudi here, but they might do that after he gets in scoring position.
Strike 1 is the count to Tenace. Rudi short lead off first base, being held by Garvey. Pitches down low, and it's 1-1. Well, it seemed like a lot for Don Sutton and the Dodgers, 3-0, starting the 9th inning. Sutton to become the first pitcher since Steve Glass in 1971 to complete a series game. Dodgers to tie to the game apiece. May yet happen, but then Sutton hit Bando. Gave up the check swing double to Jackson. That brought on Mike Marshall. Rudi greeted him with a single, and all of a sudden it's 3-2, and the game is in doubt. 1 ball, 1 strike, and there's a strike at the knees to Tenace. 1-2. Marshall gets ahead of Gene Tenace, who's had 1 hit in 5 official trips. He sacrificed once and walked once in this World Series. Marshall glances over at Rudi, who can run the bases but is not a speedster. And now throws, and man, he struck in on swing. Took something off that breaking ball, and Tenace was way out in front. Marshall gets the strikeout, and there's 1 out. And Alvin Dark is coming out to check as Manguel walks up. The bat. Manguel, you know about him, Monty, and you know about his heroics late in the 72 season.
Yes, he got a winning hit against Cincinnati at Oakland in one of the most dramatic moments I've ever seen at the Oakland Coliseum. He can hit with power to right center field, and he has played very little this year, really, but in streak, he can be an awfully good hitter. I don't know what he'll do against somebody like Mike Marshall, but he does have real good power. He'll swing at bad pitches once in a while, but he hits those pitches.
Well, now Bill North knows exactly why he was taken out of the ball game for Claudel Washington, because Odom was inserted in this number 7 spot and allowed Manguel to bat. And now it looks like Herb Washington, with 1 out, is going to come out, and that means Rudi will come out of the game, because if anything, they don't want a double play that erase their chances back in the 8th inning. And Washington can really run. He also, of course, represents the tying run and might be able to try to steal on his own. And before the game, the first game, Yeager and Washington had a few words, Monty, not to each other, but through other people. Yeager said, let him try to steal on me, and Washington said, let the situation come up and let's see what happens.
Well, I think it came about this way, Jim. Yeager got over to third yesterday and said, Sal Bando said something to him about that being a great throw you made to second today, and he said, you ain't seen nothing yet. Wait till Washington gets in.
Well, he stole 29 bases during the regular season, sprint star at Michigan State, and he is on first base right now. He is the designated runner, the first that I can recall in all of baseball history. Hired to do one thing. Alan Lewis is much the same, but Washington never played baseball before. The score is 3-2 the Dodgers. Dodgers 2 outs away from tying the series at a game apiece, but the A's are not out of it yet. Manguel waits and looks at a strike at the knee. Marshall throwing strike. Washington did not have a good lead on that last pitch. Maxwell is on deck. He is not a strong hitter. Washington walks away to a couple of step lead, and now is bluffed back simply by Marshall stepping off. Wondered how Maury Wills worked with him better part of a week trying to teach him how to feel, how to read the pitcher, how to slide properly. Lots of stealing a base aside from having blinding speed, which Washington has. Now the pitch over there, they picked it off. Washington picked off. Washington down to the dirt. Alvin Dark comes over and claps his hand as he goes by. So now there's 2 outs with the score 3-2, and no longer is the tying run on base. A dramatic moment in the 1974 World Series as the youngster who never played baseball before this year is picked up by Mike Marshall, who has set a record this year for appearances in baseball games. And now Manguel goes around with a strike. Didn't think he did, and Marshall is in front of Manguel, 0-2. Joe Rudi, run for and swing and a miss, strike 3. Marshall gets him out of it with a little bit of help from Herb Washington. 2 runs. The tying run picked off at first base. 2 hits. And none left. The Dodgers have even the 74 World Series in a game apiece as they win 3-2.